So it was earlier today that I saw something interesting. I was mostly this morning trying to think of something of what to do. I haven't done an LSU video in a while, and I don't know. Usually during the off season, nothing really that I could do, or that I could do of LSU stuff really that I would try to do during the off season for the LSU off season. So I was looking around to see if there was anything interesting that I could look at, talk about, and probably make a video. Just what I'm doing right now. I came across this article by Pro Football Network, and it was titled "Doubts Rise Over Lane Kiffin's Ability to Blend a $40 million LSU Roster Early." And mostly, what this article goes on to mostly say, and goes on to a quote from somebody from a YouTube channel, I believe. We'll get to that in a little bit. Talking about not only the doubts of the roster and Lane Kiffin, mostly already early doubts here in March, months before the season, early doubts for this team being a playoff team. Or mostly saying that LSU, in other words, saying that LSU is not going to be a playoff team. And there's just one little section of this article that I want to go and talk about, is what, of course, I said earlier. With, of course, a mostly YouTube video, YouTube channel. Get to that in a minute, but before we get into the video, welcome, of course, everybody to the BrewCrew channel. If you guys are new to the channel or haven't yet here on the BrewCrew channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell for future upcoming videos here on the BrewCrew channel. I do LSU content like this when I can. I do Saints content and wrestling content as well here in the channel. So if you're fans of all that content, this is definitely a channel for you, so definitely do all that stuff. And let's just go ahead and get into the video. So I don't know how I would title this video. Of course, you would probably see the title. It's kind of different. Mostly, of course, doubts rise for the LSU Tigers, but also like early predictions for LSU going into this season. And this guy, from a quote that I'm going to read from this video, that I will go over the sort of big quote, and I'll go over like the video and all that. Mostly just full on talks about like LSU, having doubts of LSU having to build the chemistry because of them bringing in a lot of new players from the transfer portal, revamping their offense and revamping the team, and not really thinking or expecting this team to have a breakout year just 1 year under Lane Kiffin, which is what everybody is expecting, especially with how much money we put into bringing in some of these transfers. So probably the title will probably already have it. Would mostly be like, probably, I don't know, I'll still think about it. Title, I'm saying this right now, you guys have already seen the title, but I'll think about it whenever I get that. Y'all have already seen it. Anyway, so mostly it's just doubts, but also just the question of is LSU a playoff contender or a championship contender? Probably would be the title of the video, is whatever. But anyway, so mostly the key interesting part on this article, I will leave a link in the description below for this article if you guys want to go check it out yourselves. But a guy named Michael Brayton, I'm hoping I'm saying the last name right, who I believe is the host of a YouTube channel called That SEC Podcast. And one video he had, which came out back on Friday, this article was released earlier this morning, today, on Monday, probably Tuesday when y'all are watching this. But he has his own little podcast channel on YouTube called That SEC Podcast. In a video he had a video with Paul Feinbaum, and they were talking about stuff around college football. And the title of the video was actually called, I think it was called, "Is Texas or LSU championship playoff contenders?" So, of course, if you are Texas fans, he does have some stuff to say about Texas being playoff contenders as well. Let me see if I can find the video. I watched it earlier this morning. I'll probably leave a link to it. Yeah, LSU and Texas. No, it says LSU and Texas not playoff teams. Playoff teams. So mostly the video might show it mostly looks like a Paul Feinbaum show, which I'm pretty sure it was like a Paul Feinbaum show, but he took like his clip of him being on the Paul Feinbaum show and put it on his channel, the SEC podcast. I'll leave a link to the description to the video if you guys want to go check it out yourselves. I didn't watch the full video. I mostly just watched the video of them talking about LSU and all that. And off the bat, really, this Michael Brayton guy, I'm guessing, is not a big fan of Lane Kiffin, because before he started talking about the team and all that, I kind of looked up more about him. I didn't know who this guy was. He is from Tennessee. He's a Tennessee graduate, so it's like, oh, okay, so you were probably there when, or probably a Tennessee fan. I don't know that much about him. I don't watch the channel. His first video ever of this channel that I watched, and he just full on like kind of went after Lane Kiffin. He says like, well, around here we call Lane Kiffin Lane Quittin, because apparently, of course, Ole Miss fans will never forget and live down calling him Lane Quittin, because apparently he thinks he quit on the team to go coach for another team. He can say whatever he wants to say. He also calls him Lane Whiffin, because apparently he whiffs a lot, which is true. I mean, that's just Lane Kiffin for you, and that is definitely a worry for LSU fans. But he did have some interesting points, and after I read everything and talk about what he's saying, I will kind of give you guys my sort of side. And I do want to go ahead and say there's a couple of things I do agree with what he's saying, but some stuff where I'm like, there's this or whatever, you know. But we'll get into it. And so he's on the Paul Feinbaum show, which he posted on his YouTube channel, that SEC podcast, and Paul Feinbaum asked him the question at one point when he was hearing, because at one point he did say that he does not see LSU as a playoff contender or a championship contender. And Paul Feinbaum was like kind of shocked, because he was like, I mean, you're making this sort of hot take like this early, because usually you'd see these sort of hot takes like April, maybe May, or getting into the summer. But like he's already saying like LSU is not a contender or a playoff team. And so he asked, like, is there anything other than Kiffin? Because he, of course, is thinking in his head, he's mostly just saying this because he does not like Lane Kiffin. So this is, of course, what Michael Brayton had to say. This is from the quote in the article. Don't really remember him, like, not so I'm glad the article has it, because I don't remember from the video. But he first goes on to say, quote, well, just the fact that they've completely assembled a new offense, which again, Lane Kiffin, I kid, he's a very good football coach, known for his ability to coach a quarterback and have a good running game. That LSU is going to have a completely retooled offensive line, Brandon said. Every receiver will be new, and have a new quarterback. I just don't know if you could throw all that together and have a really dynamic season right out the gate. So that first thing overall, kind of interesting for him to say that, and it's true. Retooled offense, you're also going to have a retooled defense, and you're being given these expectations of a big season, playoff run, maybe national championship run, and he's seeing it like he doesn't like see that happening. The final thing that he kind of goes on to say, final part really that he says later on, he says, but when you got $40 to $45 million roster, that's the expectation. And let's not forget Clemson in the opener. Now, they should beat them, but again, Lane whiffing, he whiffs every now and again. You got at Ole Miss, and you got Texas A&M. Those are the three of the first four games of the season. I think there's an outstanding chance LSU loses two of those, and they're facing elimination the rest of the way. So mostly he goes on to say that, of course, we have early big-time opponents in Clemson, Ole Miss and Texas A&M. Ole Miss and A&M made the playoffs last year, so there's a good chance you can lose those two games and risk elimination depending on what your other games you're going to lose. And also, if you lose that game against Clemson, which will be at home, it's definitely going to be a concern. Like, I truly say that as an LSU fan, and a lot of people would think, and a lot of analysts even say, if this team doesn't make the playoffs, it's a disappointing season. Which I kind of want to step back from that and be like, look, it's just the first season of this new team and this new coach. So I think really we have too high of expectations for this season. Do I expect us to probably be a good team? Yes. I am hoping for us to be a much better team than the team we were last year. That's what I'm hoping. I am really not expecting this team to make a playoff run. If this team loses 2 games and we go out the rest of the season not losing another one, I'm not going to count the bowl game because I just don't. The bowl game's a bowl game. It doesn't really matter that much. Then that's a fine first season. It's the second season and possibly the season after that that gets my attention, because really, I mean, it was the same thing with Brian Kelly. Not to compare with Brian Kelly, the first season had its ups and downs. You know, I mean, first season we made the conference title. I mean, there was that, but we didn't make the playoffs or anything, because of course that was the final years of the 14 playoffs, you know. But like, I mean, that season we still had like 3 losses or something like that, you know, because we lost in that conference title game. And so it's like, it's fine. That season was fine. But if this season is better than any of the seasons we had with Brian Kelly, that's a win in my book, because it's way much better than last season. So there's some stuff I agree. Like, I agree, like, look, I know, like, just, like, seeing this random assortment roster put together of, like, transfer portal players coming together, and you think, you don't know if they're actually going to you don't believe or don't think they're going to have that dynamic of a season. But my thing with that is like, I'm just like, dude, we're only in March. Okay, we're only in March. I think we're about to be starting spring training, spring practice. I don't know if that's this week or next week or whenever. I think I know today is like the pro day stuff and all that. I've seen that stuff on LSU's Instagram, but I don't remember like when spring practice is and all that, or like what the rest of the summer is going to look like. So it's like we have until September, until the first game. I think that could be enough time for this team to build some sort of chemistry, and a chemistry in a way to maybe be a playoff team. You know, like maybe be a playoff team, maybe have a good run. National title team, I don't know just yet. I'll be shocked if that happens, but mostly what I'm saying is, like, I agree with him saying, like, don't see them being a playoff team or a national championship team, but I just don't agree with him saying, like, he doesn't think the season is going to be outstanding enough. Like, I think we could still have an outstanding season. It's just the record would probably not show that, you know, but it's just sort of an up and down thing. Like, I agree with some of the stuff he says. Some of the stuff I sort of don't agree, but it's just, I don't know. Again, you guys can go check out the video. I know he talks a little bit more about, I think he says some more other stuff than what I just said on I watched the video like earlier this morning before. But yeah. But I think really the other thing is it's just like how much we pulled in or put in to these players to come in, like these transfer players to come and play for us. It's a combined total of like $45 million. And you're expecting with the players you pulled in and the team that you're potentially going to have, you're being expected to be a playoff team. Which is making analysts think and say, if this team doesn't make a playoff run, even if they have like 11 wins and only lose 2 games, and like let's say 2 of those games are conference games and they're like close games or something, it's a disappointing season. Which I don't like that. I think that somewhere I saw this in an article, but I have been seeing like people like like there's been some analysts saying like, oh, this if this season doesn't go on to be a pretty like a playoff appearance season, like I don't think they're saying like if we make the playoffs and we lose in like the first round, that's a disappointing season. If we make the playoffs, it's a good season. I just don't like that they're like, if LSU doesn't make the playoffs, it's a disappointing season. Like, look, it's the first season with Lane Kiffin. It's the first season with potentially Sam Levitt. I don't know the stuff with him because I know there's still questions about him for the off season because remember he had the like season-ending injury last year with Arizona State, so there's questions with him. But it's like you're probably gonna have him for next season because like he's a junior coming into this season, so it's like he's probably gonna play this season and then he's probably gonna come back next season. So it's like whether if it's an up and down season. I mean, I do want to say this: if we lose 3 games, I would probably be okay with that. And of course, we do the friggin' Brian Kelly season of having 10 wins because that one win comes in the bowl game. But if we don't have a great season, then probably, yeah, it's going to be for a concern. But it's always, to me, it's that second year. Because the first year, I don't like it when people like the first year for a new coach or like the team doing something to where like, oh, this team could be a playoff or contender, I should say. Contender of some sort, and they don't do good that first season. They're like, did we really think this team was a contender? And it's like, look, this is the first year. That's the thing, it's the first year of Lane Kiffin. Now I know it's Lane Kiffin, but at the same time, it's his first year with this team, and a lot of people are expecting this team to go to the playoffs. Now again, I said it before earlier, I don't have high expectations for this team to go all the way and make it to the national championship. I mean, maybe the playoffs. Only thing for me is that with a good season is this team plays good enough even when they have 2 or even 3 losses. And then of course if this team still makes a playoff run even with 2 losses, because like I mean we could still be high in the conference or something like that, you know. But it's like this. It's like some of the fans and some of these analysts, I think analysts, but mostly LSU fans, are like expecting this team to go undefeated somehow. I'm sorry for my dad's ringing phone. Yeah, I hope you don't. I hope you can't hear that. Is like they're wanting this team to go. They're thinking this team's going to go undefeated. I'm telling you this right now. I need to relook at the schedule. I probably can right now, but this team, like early season prediction, probably this team is probably not going to go undefeated. There's just really no way that this team is probably going to go undefeated. There just isn't. I mean, literally I'm actually now seeing it. The first 3 games are Clemson, Ole Miss, and Texas A&M. That's what, of course, he was saying. That's concerning as well. And like I agree. That's the one thing I agree. It's like only game that you can think that you could probably win and be okay with is that game against Clemson. But the thing is this: if you lose that game against Clemson, it's going to raise concern. It's going to raise even more concern for Lane Kiffin if he goes on to not only lose at Ole Miss in the revenge game, but lose at Texas A or lose at home against Texas A&M for the 3rd freaking year in a row. We lose to Texas A&M. Because after Texas A&M, you mostly have, like, I want to say easy competition. We got McNeese State, you got Kentucky at Kentucky, Mississippi, and then Auburn at Auburn. Those 3 teams last year were at the bottom of the SEC. I mean, Auburn was up and down. They were better out of the 2, but those teams were at the bottom. And then once you're done with those, you then have Alabama and Texas, and then Tennessee, Arkansas. I mean, sort of bottom. I mean, Tennessee either way, but then you got Alabama and Texas, who could be top teams in the SEC, this next year. So it's like, yeah. So it's going to be a crazy season. Of course, that's a future video to go over and see how I think we'll do and if we win these games. But it's definitely going to raise concern if you lose at least 2 out of the first 3 of your first games, especially when your first games are against top teams. I mean, none of them are ranked actually right now. I don't think. I don't think there's a ranking system right now, or like what the rankings are, but like I don't know where they're going to get ranked. But probably Ole Miss and Texas A&M are going to be ranked. I don't know about Clemson, but like you lose the first, you lose two of these first three games, there's going to be concerns because then it's like, how are you going to fare? I mean, the only thing that could happen is the team do that and then they win out the rest of the season. And really, the only tough competition during that win streak would be Alabama and Texas, depending on how their seasons go. You know, Tennessee could be tough, and Arkansas is Arkansas. Some of those games have been tough no matter what, if we're doing better than them or we're even with them. But again, but yeah, I think that's mostly it. Again, I said it before, this is like my third time saying it. I don't have high expectations for this team. I do have, not, I don't want to say super high. I do have expectations, but not high expectations for this team. I know it's said, but I have some, I would say big expectations, but not too big to be like high expectations. You know, mostly what I'm meaning is like my expectations are this team have a good season and maybe make the playoffs. I don't see us making a championship. Maybe in the future, depending on how the second season goes. But yeah. But now looking at the schedule and now seeing what this Michael guy is saying, and you see like this is an LSU team that's literally revamping themselves with a new look. It's like, with tough teams like that to start the season, is that the way you want to start this sort of refined team? I mean, we'll have to see. I mean, again, I kind of said this before, it's like we're only in March. Pretty sure we're about to be in like spring practice, spring training, or whatever. And then of course you have like the summer off season, whatever they do during the summer, and then of course like the stuff before the season. So like we got months in advance, which I'm pretty sure will be like September, like August, when we get that first game against Clemson. So like we got months ahead of us for this team to build something, build chemistry, probably try to find their identity. And I don't think it's just going to be like that during the offseason. They're going to be a team and they're going to be great and they're going to go undefeated. Probably not. The only way we're going to know how this team looks for sure is not through practice. A little bit. Maybe a little bit through practice. But the big thing is going to be when that first game happens against Clemson, that we'll get to see what this team looks like. I do want to, it does say at the bottom though, this says according to PFSN, to Pro Football Network, which is what this is, LSU has just a 37.1 chance of reaching the college football playoffs in 2026. That's pretty low, especially with a lot of other like LSU fans and some other analysts I think I've seen who are expecting the Tigers to potentially be a playoff team or even a contending team because of the players that they pulled in from the transfer portal. And this guy does, I mean, like, I know I'm kind of rephrasing myself, but he does make some good points. And again, I've said, like, I'm up and down about the points that he says, but he does make good points, saying that he doesn't see LSU reaching those expectations with this roster because of this roster sort of being new and different and all that, like maybe, yeah, they'll pull off some wins and maybe they'll have like a pretty good season, but first year, in my opinion, and I think he's kind of like, in his own words, a little bit of too high expectations for this first season. And I sort of agree with that. And I've said my expectations for this team, probably talk about it more in like later videos later on this year before the season starts. But yeah, again, this was just an interesting article. It was an interesting video, especially that first part when I heard him talking about LSU and all that, and I mean, yeah, it just, of course, makes me more and more interested to see how this season goes and like ready for this season to start, because I'm just ready to see like what kind of football team are we going to see this season out of LSU, and I'm hoping it's something good. I'm hoping. But again, not so high expectations of having this team be like a championship team. Playoffs maybe, but I am hoping this has a better season than last season, but a different first season than Brian Kelly's first season. Because even though Brian Kelly's first season we made the conference title and we beat Alabama, I'm hoping a different feel with this one. Do I think we should make the conference title? I don't know. All I'm expecting is for this team to potentially perform good enough to make me be, okay, maybe we could say a playoff run the next season, you know? And if we do make the playoffs and make some sort of little run, like make it to the first round or like make it to the second round and like get our way to like the semifinals or something, I would be shocked. I'd be shocked. So, but again, looking forward to it and all that. So yeah, so I think I'm going to go ahead and end it here. I know it was a pretty long video. I know there's a lot of stuff that I talked about, kind of repeated myself every now and then and all that. But anyway, if you guys want to read more into it, I'll leave the link to this article down below if you guys want to kind of reread it. I only read like the one little portion. If you guys want to go check it out, I will leave the link to that in the description below. I'll also leave a link to the video on that SEC podcast. Yeah, it's called That SEC Podcast. I'll leave a link to that video if you guys want to go check it out. Definitely do. It's a pretty interesting video, and they talk about some other teams. I didn't really fully watch it, but of course, if you're a Texas fan or any other fan of SEC teams, they talk about some other ones as well. Mostly teams in the SEC and all that. So definitely, yeah, go check out the video. Again, leave a link to that in the description below. Leave a link to the article. Go check out both of those things. And yeah, so I think that's it. That's all I have. So yeah, again, still looking forward to the season, even though we're in March, but still can't wait for it. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and end here. Like I said before, if you made it all the way to this video, thank you guys so much for watching. As always, if you guys enjoyed the video, you guys know what to do. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit that notification bell for future upcoming videos here on the BrewCrew channel. And with that being said, I hope you guys have an amazing, wonderful, blessed day. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.